All right, I'm going to get back into more on nutrition again. Now, the things I'm going to talk to is pretty much like food prep and like the effects that food have on you. So like the first part, I'm going to kind of reiterate based on stuff like I've done in previous videos and food prep. The second part, the effects, I'm pretty much going to be talking about like the stuff that's my personal experiences and how it's affected me and everything. So the thing is like anything, what you want to do is to take what I'm saying and do research and everything, and further your pursuit and like knowledge and ultimately what works best for you, because like a lot of stuff that I'll be saying is it's working for me, so my approach might not necessarily be the best way for you and everything. So and the big reason why I harp on especially nutrition is it's probably one of, if not the most important thing that you can do, because it's one of those things where you have direct control over what you eat. So whether you're basically just sitting there fucking your face with garbage, like for instance you're going out to McDonald's, Burger King, and like Wendy's, or all these fast food joints, back when I was drinking, my diet pretty much consisted of I was working at the five local Five Guys near the end of my drinking, so my diet would pretty much consist of Taco Bell, Wendy's, Five Guys, and I quite often get a lot of the garbage food that you find in the grocery stores, like in the center aisle. So the trick is and I'm sure other people will say this too, you and you grocery shop on the outside of the store, where you go through the produce and you go through the meat department, seafood department. You go through a dairy, getting things like yogurt, eggs, milk, and then pretty much on pretty much like I said, the outside aisle. So you might be able to get away with if you do go down the center aisles, getting away with some things like cereal. Now there are some cereals that are better than others. You obviously will want to eat Cheerios over something like Fruity Pebbles and stuff. So but again, the best way to do it is stick to the outside of the grocery stores. So that way, you're getting healthy stuff, especially the produce and everything, because most stores, at least the ones that I usually go to, produce is pretty much as soon as you walk in, it's right there. So it's pretty much right in your face, oh hey, look at all these good foods you can get. You can get the blueberries, tomatoes, apples, the pumpkins, and all these variety of fruits and vegetables to start off with, and those are probably your best carb sources that you'll be able to find as your fruits and veggies, regardless of where you go in the store. So those are I'll reiterate, your best carb sources. And now, in my opinion, best protein sources are going to be your meats and everything. So I am biased towards an animal based approach, because ultimately that what works for me. So well, you have to take that with a grain of salt as well, because you might come across and find that a vegan or a vegetarian approach might work for you. So you might have to find protein sources that work for you, that aren't meat aren't animal based. So again, it all depends on you. So elimination diet or elimination process, you'll figure this out. So the first step in it is obviously getting rid of all the obvious junk and garbage, your sodas, your candy, your fruit drinks, and your processed foods, or your flavored cardboard, Pop Tarts, and basically all the junk that you would normally buy. That's the first step, and replacing that with the fruits and veggies and stuff that I mentioned there. Then as you start to progress in that, you'll be getting into finding out which veggies and which fruits might work best for you. So there's also other things to consider. Is there's a doctor that came out with a book that you eat towards your for your blood type. So there's a consideration with me being O positive, and what I have found that at least works for me is that a higher protein intake works great for me. So but you might have a different blood type, and you might find that like a slightly higher carb intake works for you. So that's another component that you're going to have to consider, is eating for your blood type. And again, there's I forget the doctor's name, but he brought out, he published a book that you eat for your blood type. So that's another factor that you have to consider. And of course, another thing is not only you have to consider is you have to look into eating regionally. Someone for me, for instance, being in the Northeast, lot local stuff would be something stuff like blueberries, blackberries, strawberries, apples. What you want. So in essence, what you want to do is find stuff that's regional. So stuff like that, like I just said, would be good for someone like me in the Northeast. But the fruit example, maybe you do live down in Florida or down south, where you might have easier access to things like mangoes, pineapples, bananas, oranges. So you'd be more tempted to eat something like that. So you eat regionally, in a sense. You look at what are the local food sources based on where I am in the region of the world. So there's another thing that you're going to want to consider. And building on that, you also want to in a sense eat seasonally. So again, with me being here in the Northeast, the fall, right now, the time of this recording would be the perfect time for eating things like fruits and veggies, and because it's just the ending of the harvest and everything. So or at least traditionally, if we were based in an agricultural society, we're now just starting to finish up with the final harvest of all the fruits and veggies and all the crops and everything. So it would be the perfect time to eat stuff like that. During the winter, it would be more geared towards hunting and gathering. So you might be more geared towards things like meats and nuts and stuff that you can forage and hunt and gather. And the same thing in spring, you're kind of getting the last leftovers of all the stuff that you would have harvested, plus all the stuff that you were able to harvest, forage, hunt, gather during the winter and everything. And then the summer, of course, now you're starting to get more of the fruits and everything. So eating seasonally is another aspect that you want to look into, not just eating for your blood type, not just eating regionally, but also seasonally as well, as another factor that you want to get into. So, and those are components to them, not necessarily just how you eat, whether it's the extremes of complete plant-based of vegan, or the complete animal-based of carnivore, or anywhere in between with keto, pescatarian, paleo, vegetarian, whatever overall approach works for you with those I just mentioned. But also I'll reiterate, seasonally, regionally, and also eating for your blood type. And so this is the whole concept of the elimination diet, is you take all those concepts and you're looking at what's the best approach that works for me. So with the food prep aspect of it, it in a sense eases the temptations, and it lets you get more control over what you put in your mouth and everything. So that way, for instance, last Saturday, after I dropped the videos and everything, I went to a local event and everything that was at the mall, the local mall. I mean, yeah, they're still in existence and everything. So I was passing by Auntie Anne's, which is a pretzel place. So I was with a coworker from the grocery store, and I took one whiff of the spoon. It's man, that smells so disgusting and everything. And because I haven't eaten that stuff in months, if not years. And of course he's oh, they're so great and everything. So it's perspective. Once you get done elimination diet and your food prep and getting all that food, you're not tempted to buy something like that. And with me, I haven't had that stuff in months, if not years. you really get like a good like whiff of it, and you're like, oh my god, I used to eat that shit. It smells so disgusting. Makes you just want to like barf or something. So it's like two different like perspectives. I was with a coworker who has yet to do anything about the going through the elimination process for himself, whereas someone like me, I've already been doing this stuff for years, and so you get that perspective on like oh hey, I used to eat all this garbage and everything. Like with me, like eating like Five Guys, Taco Bell, Wendy's, and like pizza and all this garbage on a regular basis back when I was drinking. You don't like realize how bad that stuff is. And then like I remember like a couple years ago, I tried soda for the first time in like years, and I drank it, and it just like in a sense I could feel it sit in like my whole digestive system, in my stomach, and just kind of like just kind of like just I could feel like it just felt like heavy and just kind of disgusting and everything. So like once you go through that process and you do try something like I did with that soda that once, you get that perspective, and like you try it and like you just feel like dog shit afterwards. So like it definitely gives you like perspective on that. Like and like I said, with the food prep aspect, once you have like everything cooked, you're all ready for the week and everything. Or like you can break it up and do it like twice a week or something, and it's something that you're going to have to ultimately do to figure out what system works best for you, whether you prep for 2 or 3 days, or you do something like me, like you take like a day like a Saturday, and you just prep your whole food for the whole week and everything. Like for instance, for like today, I've already done my cooking and food prep for the week, so I'm all set. So like whenever I am getting ready for work, like the way my schedule works right now is like I'm working an 11 to 7:30 shift, so like I get my strength training done in the morning, have breakfast, and then like I can sit there and get like my food ready, and then I just put it in like a lunch bag or whatever, and I can just literally grab it and go, and like I don't have to sit here and worry about like what am I going to eat, or like I get to work and like the vending machine's like, oh man, I forgot my lunch or something, like oh man, I'm going to like I'm not tempted to like buy stuff out of the vending machine. I have all my stuff, like I said, I could just grab it and go, and I already have everything there. And so that's like the great advantage of food prep. And so like but like I said, someone like me, I do all my cooking and prep for the week on Saturdays. You might have a different schedule and everything, so you might have finagle it like slightly different. Like you might have like a Tuesday, Wednesday off, because you may work in retail, food service, or like a hospitality. So like you might be working during the weekend, so you might not necessarily be able to do stuff on a Saturday like I do. So you might have to do something during the week, or you might have split days off, and you might have to like finagle it where you prep for a couple days of work, you get another day off, and then prep for a few more days. And so it's just something that you're going to have to play around like with the food prep and everything, and like getting into like getting back to the kind of like finish this real quick, like with like the stuff like I've mentioned, like with the quality over quantity, with like the examples I used, like with the soda and everything. You do notice that, and like I'll say like don't be surprised as like if like after months or years you go through like you find out like the same, like kind of like something similar or the same type of deal. Like you might be passing by like your favorite pizza joint that you used to go to like after like 2 years, and then like you get a whiff of it, and just like you'll get that like, I used to eat that shit. That stuff smells disgusting and everything. So like you might chances are you'll probably get that like after you're going through the whole process. And of course it's a process, and it takes time. It takes months, if not years, and everything. So like for instance, like I know one of the groups I was in online, one of the women that was in there, she had migraines and was taking medication for migraines, and then she did the elimination process, cut out dairy. Not only did she get off the medication, but she got her migraines completely gone because she cut dairy out and everything. So like it's stuff like this that like I said, the litmus test, or like I call it the smell test. Like after, like I said, months or years of not going to some place that you used to frequent a lot, and you get that disgusted smell and everything. So like but it takes months, like if not years, and especially like in a case like me, like when I hit the plateau of like 6 months in my early on when I was losing weight and everything, I hit a 6 month plateau where I wasn't losing any weight, and like that's when really the elimination process kicked in for me, where I was really like a dial like a okay, I got my training in, now I need to kind of dial my nutrition in, and like that's where the whole process started for me, and that was probably like 6 7 years ago at this point. So like and of course it's always ongoing, and because like even though I have like a bunch of stuff already figured out, and like I know what works great for me, I'm always still trying like doing like little tinkering and stuff to see like okay, how can I improve on stuff and everything. So like once you get to like you build that foundation, and like you're building the house, you're doing like little tweaks and stuff. There's like in a sense like you got not only foundation, but you got your house built. Now like once you start after years of getting everything set, you're doing that like in a sense the house decoration, where you're kind of tweaking and twisting and turning and making stuff to the point where you're actually getting into the nitty gritty details and the fine details, and getting into like the less like fine tuning type of deal. So like I'll reiterate that it is a process, and it takes months if not years. And so getting to like the 5 year challenge, you gotta like get into like get into mindset that like this is a lifestyle like that I'm going to be doing over like the course of my life, over the course of decades, not just like oh, I'm going to diet for a short term, like get the beach body, like now I get stuff in my face during the holidays. Oh, now I gotta start dieting down for the summer to get that beach body. No, it's a lifelong process and everything, but it's definitely well worth all the hard work that you're going to pay off and everything. So like it's you're going to see it later in life. So that's ultimately what's great about like the food prep and like the elimination diet process and everything. So like I said, and I reiterate, it takes months if not years to get everything done, but it's definitely well worth it, and the benefits last a lifetime.